down. So Kevin Hayes signs what's technically a contract extension with the Philadelphia Flyers. Let me give a few details about the contract extension. It's a 7 year, $50 million extension. And in case you guys don't want to do the math, I'm going to spare you right here. It's worth an average annual value of 7.14 million. Is it worth it? Is he going to play good? Did the Flyers make a good deal? All that and more to come. But first of all, let me just start off this analysis, this contract analysis by saying, do I know much about Kevin Hayes? No. I don't like to pretend like I know much about a player, then sit here to you guys, and spew a bunch of bullshit about him. So this is what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to start off, I'm going to go to his Hockey DB page, and we're going to see what's said over there. So he's an American player, born in Dorchester, Mass. He's 27 years old, so he's on the younger side. I know that nowadays NHL players they hit their prime much earlier than before. So while 27 isn't the youngest, it's definitely not the oldest. They're certainly going to get him during his prime period. Another thing that stands out is his height. 6'5", 216 pounds. This guy is a monster. And part of me wants to think that the reason why the Flyers showed this much confidence in Kevin Hayes is kind of the bleed through of the Blues having won the cup. What type of players were on the Blues? Big players, heavy players, the type of player that Kevin Hayes is. So I think that maybe they're looking at them. Maybe they're saying, wow, we need players like Kevin Hayes in order to win the cup. And this is what resulted a monster $7 million contract. Is that a little bit too much? Let's get to that later. First, let's just look at his points right here. So he was drafted by the Chicago Blackhawks in the first round, 24th overall. So he has that first round pedigree, and that was in the 2010 NHL entry draft. However, despite being drafted by the Chicago Blackhawks, he never really ended up playing a game with them as he was traded to the New York Rangers. Or I don't know if he was traded or that, loophole with the college hockey happened. But anyways, he ended up playing with the New York Rangers. He played 79 games his first season, consistently plays in the high 70s. And as I'm looking at his points quickly right here, he never broke the 50-point mark. There's this one year he got 25 goals in 2017, 2018. And last year, so I take that back. Last year he had 42 points with the Rangers, but then he got traded to the Jets and got 12 points. So he broke the 50-point mark there. I think it's safe to say he's around a 50-point player. That's what you're going to get from Kevin Hayes. You're going to get about 20 goals, 20 to 25 goals, and 50 to 55 points. So now that we went through his points, I think that let's talk a little about the contract. I think that it's a little bit too much. 7 million and with a lot of term. I don't think I'm being Marlin here. I don't think I'm being a wizard here with my crystal ball when I say that Kevin Hayes isn't the best skater. I think he'll be the first guy to tell you that. He's not the most fleet of foot. And I'm anxious to see at the end of the 7 year deal where his skating is going to be. Is it going to be at the same level as it is now? Certainly not. I guess it's just a question of seeing how far will it regress? How bad will his skating be before we look back at this contract and think, wow, this is bad. That being said, I don't think this contract is all that bad as I'm making it seem. Sure, 7 years is a lot of term. Sure, 7 million is a lot of dollars. But if you look at the Flyers, their management is confident that they have the team to make a Stanley Cup push. They have the key pieces, the Voraceks, the Girouxs. They got a key core right there in Philadelphia, Nolan Patrick, and they just want to add certain players, such as Kevin Hayes, just in order to make that push. So while this may seem like a lot of dollars, while this may seem like a lot of terms, if the Flyers manage to make a significant Stanley Cup push, and if who knows, if they get to win the cup, they're going to look back at this deal and say, who gives a shit? I don't care how much term it is. We won a cup. The whole city is happy. No one's going to care. and hopefully, they will at least gain some success from this because they're obviously making a lot of deals this offseason. We saw the Nishkinen deal, which is you could check it out on my channel, and then Gene in the chat saying, "What is it?" So, what is it? Kevin Hayes just signed a contract. That's what it is. Learn to read the title, buddy. It's not there for decoration. It's definitely a title there to be read. So, thank you for the comment, Gene, and thank you for throwing me off. Jesus Christ. So, the Flyers, I was saying, are making a lot of deals this offseason. We saw the Matty Nishkinen deal, which I made a video about in case you're wondering what I think about that. It's kind of a low risk, low reward trade. He's not going to be a top four defenseman in any way. He's going to solidify the D. He's going to solidify the depth. But it's a significant move nonetheless. We saw that, and I didn't make a video about this. Unfortunately, I didn't have the time. But they made a trade in order to acquire Justin Braun, who's I'm a really big fan of Justin Braun. I think that, pun intended, he was getting drowned over there in the Sharks team and with all the good superstars they have on defense. And I'm really excited to see what he does on the Flyers organization. I think that we'll see what happens at the end of free agency, but I think that if they make a few more moves, hey, the Flyers are a dark horse to win the Stanley Cup here, or win the Stanley Cup. I'm getting ahead of myself, but definitely a dark horse to make a push right here because, as I said, they got that core, the Giroux's, the Voraceks. I almost said the Simmons because he's been on that team forever, but we forgot he got traded, right? Nolan Patrick hopefully can make a step forward. We're still waiting to see what happens to Gostisbehere, if he's going to get traded. All of these additions on D, all of these left-handed defensemen are leading me to believe that Gostisbehere is indeed expendable. But going back to Kevin Hayes here, and I just wanted to stress him how good of a player he could be in a playoff situation. We saw in the Bruins Blues series how physical hockey can get. And while for us sitting down on our fat, hairy asses, we don't notice how devastating a hit could be to an opposing player, you know? And in the moment, it might seem like nothing, but over time, hits accumulate and players get injured. A lot of players on the Bruins were injured, and we later saw it. They reported it after the Cup defeat. Pastrnak being one of them. Which is funny. I think the report was that he had a sore thumb, which, hey, get over that, kid. But anyway, I think having a big body like Kevin Hayes, even if he's not producing as much as you would like to, that within itself is valuable. Just having a big body around and not being pushed around, not being quote unquote, for lack of a better word, bullied. He's not the biggest point producer. We're not going to hide that. But who knows? You place him on the wing with Giroux, or on the wing with Voracek. You put him on a power play in front of the net. 6'5", 216 pounds in front of the net. How are you going to see a puck if you're a goalie? I mean, you're not going to see shit unless it's Kevin Hayes' shit. So, that's definitely valuable in some type of way. Interestingly enough, if you guys read the title, which Gene didn't do, but if you guys read the title, you would see that this isn't a signing. This is an extension. The reason why that is, you might be wondering, is because Kevin Hayes was part of the Winnipeg Jets organization. There was a trade that happened at the trade deadline, and he was sent over to Winnipeg. Now, at the end of the season, Winnipeg traded him to Philadelphia, or traded his rights to Philadelphia, in exchange for a fifth-round pick. So I don't know if that kind of increased his chances of getting signed with Philadelphia. I don't know what type of effect that had, but yeah, it was kind of interesting to see. And listening to Pierre Maguire on TSN 690, that's something that teams will be doing moving forward. You're going to see more and more of it. So lots of deals to come, guys. Free agent frenzy, which I believe it's July 1st. It's announcing to be a really boring one because all these big free agents are signing, now. But so we'll still see what happens. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys liked my content, that you learned a lot. If not, hey, go fuck yourself, But either way, please like and subscribe. And to conclude, my name is Matt. signing off.